Oh, my Lord. You're live. Okay. Thank you. We'll go ahead and call the Public Works Committee meeting. It's good to see everybody this afternoon. And the only addition that we need to add to the agenda is for Jesse to talk about his new shoes. You'll have to tell us all about them because they're sharp.
Second.
All right.
Hold it up.
I would like to add
Yes,
something.
yes, sir.
to
Go
the
ahead.
agenda
All right.
Under other agenda items.
All right. Yes. Yes.
And I guess it would be number 5.
Right.
I would like to have a brief discussion on street lights.
Yes, and I appreciate you and I had some correspondence, and I couldn't find what I was looking for, so I didn't want to hassle you.
It's just general
But,
information.
yeah, and that's a good idea to go ahead and do that because we've both been contacted by it. So, street.
And with that, I'll make a motion to amend the agenda.
All right.
Second.
Proper motion. Any other additions? Hearing none. Is everybody ready to vote on the addition of the agenda? Signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed. Passes unanimously. Now on to the acceptance of the agenda. If there's no objection, we'll just go ahead and order it. If there's a problem, just raise a hand and we can talk about it and go formally about that. Hearing none, we'll continue on with the minutes. I'm just sort of entertaining a motion for A and B.
Yeah,
To move.
both of them together.
Yes, sir.
I move approval of both A and B minutes.
All right.
Second.
All right. There's been a proper motion for A and B, the approval of minutes of February 27th, 2024, and approval of the March 12th, 2024 minutes. Any discussion or issue with the minutes? Hearing none. Is everyone ready to vote? All in favor of the minutes for, moving together, let's do that that way. That's most proper. A and B, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay, there's all opposed, passing unanimously. Now, which we already have done, move to approve both the minutes, proper meeting of the minutes. Signify by saying aye. Aye. All oppose it. Okay, A and B passes unanimously. All right, citizens' comments. Is there anyone under citizens' comments? We don't have anyone that has signed up, so we'll go ahead on that. Let's go with ordinances and resolutions. We have one ordinance this evening, and it's the reading of, resolution, and it's the reading of 2024-16. It's a resolution approving the Board of Parks and Rec, the updated policies and fees for programs and leagues. And I need a motion, then we'll ask Mayor to discuss it.
Motion.
Second.
Okay, there's been a proper motion, proper second. Mayor Clary.
Appreciate that. About 2 years ago, the board, with the help of the park staff, several people involved in parks and the parks board, overhauled our policies and procedures in our parks. Last year we came back, we made some tweaks, and this year we've got some tweaks to make, and I'll ask Andy and Jess to give the details.
All right. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
This
Drive.
revision is for our special events application handbook. We really haven't done a major overhaul this in about probably 4 years. It was time to update some fee structures, give some clarity to our people that apply for events. We are having more and more situations where we have unique events, just asking for a piece of grass to have something on. Just an example, we had a lady come in today wanting to do yoga classes in the park. So we're looking for more and more opportunities to not only provide ways to have events, but also we needed to go in and increase our fees. I think every department has gone through a process and every avenue of increasing that we can at this point. This is our latest version of that. So happy to take your questions.
Okay, does anyone have any questions from the committee? Any
Some
aldermen,
very
do you all have any questions on it? Okay.
I've got a question. Can you just briefly review the fee changes?
Yeah, there's a lot of them. If you look on in the packet,
Are they redlined?
they are. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Just point me to the page where they are redlined, because I didn't see many fee changes. Under fees on page 15,
Yeah, I didn't. I was looking at that.
So- if there's a bunch, I'd like to make sure that I understand what they are.
Looks like you may have the wrong version in this packet that does not have the numbers redlined. So I can go through it if you want to do that. Under sports camps.
Yep.
That was $5 per participant, going
That's
up
on
to
page
10.
15.
This is on page 15.
Okay, go ahead, sir, I'm sorry.
Under sports camps, 2 weeks or less, that was $5 per participant, going up to 10. Under athletic fields, that was $100 per field per day, going up to 125. Under where it says additional mandatory fee on Saturday for maintenance purposes, that was 100, going up to 200. Entire soccer complex weeknight went up to 1,000. It was 750, I believe. Entire soccer complex weekend goes to 2,000. That was 1,500, and it was $100 per field. So it's amicable to what was baseball and softball.
Okay.
If you turn the page up at the top, in our old application handbook, we had a setup for the old hockey rinks where it was where you could rent the rinks per hour. That is not something we can even physically manage in our department. So we've done basically the same, treated each hockey rink as a field, 125 per rink per day. And then that's an increase on the weekend also from what we had done.
Okay.
Tennis remains the same. We kind of looked around at all the other facilities, with the exception of indoor facilities. We were on par with everybody else. We don't really want to hurt participation there. And then these categories here are about fishing tournaments. We really tried to focus in on, okay, what size were the tournaments, how many boats they were bringing, and what shelters it was causing us to have to block out. And basically those fees that we're charging the fishing tournaments are equivalent to what if and those shelters were rented for the full day. So that's kind of how we came about those numbers. And then a $5 per boat fee goes that we'll keep up with and have appropriated each year to Sanders Ferry Park improvements. So if a fishing tournament has 100 boats, they'll pay that $360 fee plus $5 per boat back to the city. In addition to this handbook, the application also calls for them to make a donation to either the city parks or local nonprofit, which helps us in a lot of ways. Then other events, this is how we've tried to attack these things that just want to happen in open spaces. Down at the bottom, you've got 500 people or less for just to have a space. If you want to have a movie in the park where we're just giving them a piece of grass, we're not even reserving a shelter or anything. And then noted on Heritage Park and Sanders Ferry, that was 1,000 under the old application. Moved that up to 1,500 for Sanders Ferry and Heritage Park. So if somebody wanted to have a wedding and reserve Heritage Park, it'd be $1,500 for the day. Doesn't really get them anything but the grass and the ability to kick other people out. But
Can you project the revenue impact? What it's expected to
Would
bring?
take
in?
some work. I could probably do that within 2 weeks.
No, that's okay.
It will increase revenue to recreation athletics general fund. Some of these, if an event is local teams from less than 50 miles, we turn that deposit into the general fund. The way it's set up now, that the hotel fund is what it is. If it's teams coming from out of town spending the night, we turn their rental fees into the hotel fund.
But all of these fees will go to the parks.
All these,
They're earmarked.
no, these fees collected go to the city's general fund. Within this application, if somebody makes a donation above these basic fees, those can be earmarked to the park, or they go to somebody like the Civitan Club, the rugby club, the hockey club, and those people in turn invest it back in the park. And that system has worked pretty well. Good example, rugby, if they host a tournament, they pay these field fees, and then the people coming in that are running the tournament will also make a donation to the rugby club.
So Jesse, and Mayor, do you not need an estimated revenue impact to be able to budget for that? for these increased fees? Some hypothetical number?
We have one line that we'll sort of address that tonight, but you want to take the rest of it?
Yeah, Tamara actually estimated some increases in the budget for next year, and it's included in the budget.
Okay,
There's
Thank
one
you.
that's bigger than the other ones, but we'll.
okay, very good. All right, that's all.
That was the only thing, the thing that I had.
Well, I'm actually kind of glad it wasn't red line to talk through it.
Yeah,
I don't know why it's not red line.
but we might need to, when it comes to the board, you might want to redline. I will go back and redline it for the rest of the
Yes,
all.
sir.
All right, any other further discussion on this one? Just for the record, we have not increased our fees in how many years? About 4 or 5, is that right?
We've done some periodically, but this major overhaul probably not since 2000.
Oh, okay. Ooh. All right.
There's been a couple. There's been some changes.
County fees, if people live in the county. I remember that was done.
Resident, non-resident.
Yeah.
When I first started as Parks Director, it was $75 per field. So that was 6 years ago. Then we went to 100. Then now we're at 125.
And these are reasonable with surrounding municipalities.
Yes, sir.
All righty. Any further discussion on this? Y'all have anything to say on it? All right. We have a proper motion and a a proper second has been made. Is everyone ready to vote on this? All right. All in favor of reading of the approval of the resolution 2024 for recommending approval to the Board of Mayor and Aldermen, approving the Board of Parks and Recreation's updated policies and fees for program and lead. Don't say, I just got another question, I'm sorry. Eddie had spoken and had answered my question on the fees. Was this ever, it says it goes to the Board of Parks. Did it not go to Board of
It
Parks?
did. They
Okay,
approved
that's
it.
what I thought.
They recommended it unanimously.
Okay. And before, or in 2020, it still went to the Parks Board, right? Okay,
Right.
that's what I thought. I just wanted to make sure that nothing had changed with that. Okay. Now, all in favor of resolution 2024, any further discussion on it? All right. All in favor of resolution 2024-16, approving this resolution, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, passes unanimously. Okay, now on to other agenda items. Let's go with Sarah with the trash collection update.
So I think you'll see in your packet that the misses for this last month, the total reported misses were at 105, which is
Same thing.
really incredibly low. So they've been doing a really good job getting us collected, and those misses have been addressed, most of them the same day, which is really have been a drastic improvement.
Any discussion on this issue with the collection update? I have one question that a constituent of mine that lives on Neptune Drive asked me. She has several doctors that she uses. She's getting ready to go see her heart doctor. What doctor that you all need?
Whichever one she would like to
Okay.
have fill it out.
All right, okay. I'll relay that information to her tomorrow morning. I was just curious because I guess it's the sooner the better,
We
since it's,
received our first one today.
okay. So we'll get,
Forms available now.
They are, yeah.
we'll definitely get one. Hopefully tonight. If not, I'll run up here tomorrow and get it. Okay, that's all needed on that.
So it's related to trash, but not misses. Have the notices gone out?
They should be hitting mailboxes this week at some point. Yeah, they had to
Yeah.
go get printed. There was like 21,000 and then go to the mail house. But my understanding is they should be hitting mailboxes this
And
week.
it's appropriate to wait till after we vote on it. So I'm glad that you did. I don't anticipate any problem, but we don't want to get the cart before the horse. So,
Well, the communication was intended to be general, so it really didn't include the specifics we were voting on. It was mostly about the backdoor waiver because regardless, that was originally the goal of the communication. But yeah, it will be hitting after tonight.
Good question. Anybody else on the trash?
Great job.
Trash. All right, let's go to the Saunders Ferry Greenway update.
So that project, as far as local programs is concerned, is substantially complete. But what we've included in the packet is a mock-up for our city seal, if you will. And this was something that was requested for us to look into. We were not able to find anyone locally that provided exactly the example that was provided, but this mock-up was provided by a company that they employ artists that come in, and they have like horizontal sanders, and they will sand or saw. Can't think of the word sanders.
Grind.
Thank you. They'll grind it in, and then they paint and seal it. So it may, it will be an artistic. They had work examples that were very good, but the estimate per seal is approximately $12,000 or just above. And that's something I contacted many companies, and there were some that were advertising work similar to this, but many of them have closed. And so this company was the only one I was able to find that provided it as an option. And this would be a 7-foot diameter. So it would be pretty significant.
and is this the location where we intend to put it?
We thought this would be a really nice location. There is, of course, a railing there now, but this is right at the point behind Linkoya, which would be a nice backdrop if someone wanted to take pictures or things like that.
Can they see it from the road?
Believe they probably would. I mean, there is a railing there, but they probably.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Let's see.
All right, when are they scheduled to work on this, or?
We have not scheduled
Yeah,
anything.
okay.
Yeah.
Well,
How
that's
we
nice.
paying for it?
So that's the question. Yes. So we would need to look at either probably professional services funding. We don't have any for this fiscal year's budget, but we could prioritize it if, that were the direction we wanted to head for next fiscal year.
All right, well, just to let us know, keep us posted on what, what is decided, what options we've got, on that.
It's not in the proposed budget you'll see tonight. But
Okay.
we want to have discussion about tonight, we can.
All right,
Are the greenways are maintained and supervised by Public Works, correct?
That has not been established yet.
Because it seems to me that it's more of a park recreational function than a Public Works. That's my feel for it. And although I wouldn't want to have to increase staff, Andy, but I would like for the staff mayor to consider putting that under parks, because I do think it fits more into their repertoire.
We've had a lot of discussions.
Okay, all right.
We have driven it, and Andy and I and Trevor with Parks drove it. And we thought it would be most appropriate for Parks as well. We did an assessment of it, and we want to drive back again in a couple months and see what the needs are before we go out to bid. We can handle the stuff that's happening now,
Okay.
but it may be where we contract. Parks oversees a small contract and does some daily stuff over there, but they can actually take their gator or their golf cart from Memorial Park all the way down to Mallard Point on
Good.
that. So
Okay.
we're looking at it, and it'll be something that we
Okay.
address next year.
Okay.
all right, well, that's good. Anything else on the Greenway?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Staff was also asked to look at alternative railing options
Oh,
for that
yes, yeah.
400-foot section.
Yeah.
And so the contractor that constructed the boardwalks did provide, it's a preliminary design. It would have to be finalized, but this does involve this is a mock-up that's included in your packet, and it does involve the cable that we discussed. The spacing requirements are a little bit tighter than for the regular horizontal. So these are 3 inches on center.
Why?
That I think it's because they can actually be pulled a little bit, and so they have to be tighter so that children and things like that can't put limbs or their head through them. And I think for that same requirement, for that same reason, they also would have to add additional posts, vertical posts. They'd remove the horizontal slats and the diagonal members, but they would have to add additional 4x4 posts as well. So their estimate, and it's interesting because they will not commit to being able to do this work, but their estimate for the full design and removing the existing railing and the month they anticipate this work taking would be approximately $212,000.
Oh my God. 200,000.
Mm-hmm. And with that, one of their conditions was that they would need up to a year to be able to schedule the work if they agreed to do it.
Good work if you can get it. Man.
What if you bid it out?
We could bid it out, but it would, it'd have to be the design portion as well, because this does alter the structure. Some of those members were integral to the structure of the boardwalks. So there would be a design component.
Can we do it in-house?
I don't think that we could absorb this. If it would take them a month to do it, I don't think that our staff, it would just detract too much from our normal operations.
So we have the technical ability to do it, but you're saying we don't have the manpower to do it with everything else that we do.
I don't think that we have necessarily the technical ability either. I mean, this is pretty, a lot of our staff is more capable in concrete and operating limb trucks. Their construction experience for something like this, where it would be high profile, is minimal.
Well, I think we need to bid it. I don't think we need, I'm afraid that the builder or this person thinks he has a lock on the project. So there's no motivation for him to try to come in with what I would consider a reasonable bid. I mean, what do y'all think?
Well, I think, I don't know what that company's idea is, but it just sounds like they're just pricing it so high because they don't want to do it.
Yeah.
And so we need to really search for other people, I think. And I think the bidding process is the only way to really do it.
And then we may decide not to do it if the bid
That's
comes
true.
in high.
If it
That
comes
doesn't
in-
obligate us,
Yeah,
right?
That's true. Yes.
then not really us at all. So,
Almost got hit.
yeah, I think that's what we'll need to do. And you might want to check with the state to see who they might, that they use, whether they do it themselves or whether they contract it out, because I don't know.
They would likely bid something like this
Yeah,
as
I
well.
think they would too, because you think of all the parks across the state of Tennessee. Anyway,
Have we used up all the money on this project? Is the well dry?
We received we're probably about 50,000 under for the construction portion. We did have to extend the construction engineering inspection portion due to the plantings to make sure that they take it. So that requires us to continue to utilize them through local programs. But I anticipate us still coming in under budget. Not 200,000, but.
good deal.
When you,
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, if you do bid it out, send me a copy and I'll send it to Metro Parks contractors that do this work for us.
Okay. Thank you.
What was-
Yes, sir.
What was the price she gave?
$212,000.
Sorry.
$212,000.
Public Works.
What is that about? That does look
She
like
just want to hang
workshop.
with us.
And they said that they would have to ask also if we approve that they needed up to a year to fix it. Oh, that's just something they want to do.
business.
Yeah. Geez, I mean,
They're trying to get paid.
yeah, that's exactly what they're trying to do. All right, well, I have that feeling. I'm suspicious or suspect. All right, anything else on the, Saunders Greenway update? I know it's being used. I've been down there and, seen people there, so
They
that's
love
good.
it.
Yeah, had a lot of, comments on it. So that's good. Very pleased with it. Okay, let's go ahead with the light synchronization update. Just this verbal update on what's going on.
Sure. So we did receive comments back from the state on our preliminary design submittal. So they came in right before spring break. And so of course, everyone's out of the office on
Right.
spring break. So I'm awaiting a timeline of when we'll be able to fully address those comments and resubmit. But I would anticipate in the next couple of weeks, we should be able to get that resubmitted.
So how exhaustive was the list?
Not exhaustive. I mean, there were comments from each division. Everyone had something, but some of them were preferential wording, things like that. But
And these were the comments from the state that sent back.
yes.
All right. All righty. Anything else? No,
No, sir.
on that, okay. Anybody else? Think about that. Okay. All right, on to other business before we get to the added portion. Is there any other business you want to discuss in Public Works that's going on?
No, sir.
Anybody? We're doing a good job is all I can say. So tell everybody they're doing real good. Just,
I will.
they really truly are. And it pleases me when I see them out working, and I know they are. They're hustling, but they do that.
Mhm.
And so just tell everybody in Public Works, and of course we all know in Parks and Rec, you guys are always hitting it because that's the way it goes. Getting the fields ready for everybody, and so we appreciate all the effort. But that's good when the comments are people calling saying, well, they're not. I'd rather not have any comments than comments
Mhm.
to the bad side. So you guys, both you and Parks, just keep it up because we're doing what's right. So, but like I said, if I've always said this to you guys, if there's any problems, always feel free to call us and which certainly will try to help you, or at least maybe guide you, or if we've got questions, you can guide us, because that's usually what happens. I might have a call or a question, and of course I've called you about that, and you've always guided me properly, and I appreciate that. Okay, let's go to the added, and I really looked for this, and I could not find it in the garage because it's been around for such a long time, and I appreciate Eddie getting involved in this as well as I do, but it's the street lights that within the subdivisions is what it is. And so do we have any kind of status on that, or an update on those at all?
Specific to a subdivision or?
Yeah, and I was looking for the subdivisions that, and Eddie, you might know what they
Yeah.
are.
First of all, I understand a few years ago there was a study done. So I'd like for the staff to research, has there been a study done on, are we in compliance?
Oh,
Are we in compliance across the city on the placement of streetlights? That's the question.
Okay.
And I understand there was a study, I've not seen it, but if the staff could look for that study and just put it on the agenda
There
maybe
was
for
a
next time.
Yes, sir, and I'm glad you said that. And that is correct. There was a study, but I think it was under Jerry Horton's back when he was I don't think it was,
Is it path? Is that
No,
what you're referring to?
There's
Something
been an
else?
allegation
yeah,
that when we annex areas, that
Uh-huh.
we are obligated to provide a certain level of infrastructure.
Mhm.
And the allegation is that there are several subdivisions that we have failed to meet that obligation under state law on the placement of streetlights at the locations like at intersections and
Mhm.
dead ends. So you know, I just brought it up to just, I know you've got so much on your mind and maybe not even next meeting, Mark.
yeah, it's gonna take more than just one, just at your convenience, actually.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
So we can tell the constituent,
Yes,
we brought it up.
We can do
did.
that.
Thank you very much, because that's so true on that. But I think once you find that study, it's gonna show you, because I remember it was a big issue within the city, and it was resolved, and I think the city attorney got into it and said that we were actually in compliance. And then he read what, what the law was on it, but I don't want to stick my neck out for that, because it's been a long time.
Okay. I'm not familiar with it, but we'll look into it.
It's- I think you were probably still in school when that came through. 'Cause-
Elementary school.
yeah,
I have my.
it's been a while. It's been a long time. A long time. Okay, are there any other business? All right, that's
Motion to
great.
adjourn.
We got a motion?
Second.
All right, we've adjourned, and it's about 5:30.